They say the truth always comes out. But what if the truth is darker, messier, and more shocking than anybody ever imagined? Tonight, we dive into a story that has the rap game, social media, and the streets on absolute fire. New evidence has surfaced, and it's pointing fingers in ways nobody expected. We're talking about Lil Tim, the man at the center of King Von's tragic death, finally breaking his silence and allegedly revealing details that even his closest people claim they never heard before. Fans are already calling it the confession nobody saw coming. Some say it clears his name, others swear it's proof of betrayal. In barbershops, in clubs, on Twitter Spaces at 3 a.m., the debates are explosive. Emotions are running high, families are whispering behind closed doors, and Von's legacy hangs in the balance. What really happened that night? Was it pure self-defense, a cold-blooded setup, or something even more sinister, orchestrated behind the scenes by people nobody dared to accuse? The new claims from Lil Tim have cracked open old wounds and sparked new rivalries. Stick around, because the twists in this story will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. It all started with whispers in the streets, whispers that no one wanted to say out loud, but everyone knew were brewing beneath the surface. When Lil Tim decided to break his silence, it wasn't in some formal press conference or a clean-cut interview with lawyers by his side. No, the way it came out was messy, emotional, and raw. Exactly the kind of energy that fans feed on. A shaky phone video leaked on social media, recorded in what looked like a dimly lit studio. You could hear voices in the background, some nervous, laughter, some people telling him to chill, but Lil Tim didn't hold back. He leaned forward, looked into the camera, and said the words that froze the entire timeline. Y'all don't even know what really went down that night. It wasn't just me and Von. There were other hands pulling the strings. The internet exploded instantly. Within minutes, the clip spread like wildfire. Blogs posted it, and fans started dissecting every pause, every look, every muttered word in the background. Some said he looked haunted, like the weight of the truth was breaking him. Others claimed it was just another attempt to control the narrative. But then he said something that made even the loudest skeptics stop scrolling. I was set up. They put me in a position where I had no choice. Von's people knew exactly what was coming. Those words sent shockwaves through Von's fanbase. The idea that Von's own circle might have known something, or even pushed the night in a certain direction, was almost too much to handle. In chat rooms, on Reddit, and on Twitter threads that stretched on for days, fans argued back and forth. One side believed Lil Tim was trying to paint himself as the victim, while the other side started connecting dots to old beefs, old videos, and cryptic lyrics that suddenly felt like confessions hiding in plain sight. In one corner of Atlanta, an insider who claimed to be close to Von's family gave an anonymous interview to a small podcast. Their voice was disguised, but the passion in their tone was unmistakable. It's not just about Von versus Tim. It never was. There were people higher up, people who stood to gain from Von being gone. And if Tim is finally speaking, it's because he's scared those same people are coming for him next. The host of the podcast leaned in, pushing for more, asking, "Are you saying Von's own allies betrayed him?" There was a long pause. Then the voice said simply, "I'm saying the game is dirtier than you'll think. Nobody is safe." By the next morning, that small podcast clip had been shared thousands of times. Headlines screamed about betrayal, family feuds, and hidden agendas. Fans who were once united in grief found themselves divided, unsure of who to trust. Some even turned on Von's closest friends, demanding answers, flooding their comments with questions and accusations. Amid the chaos, Asian Doll's name was dragged back into the mix. Even though she had distanced herself from the drama, fans pulled up old tweets, old interviews, moments where she hinted at Von being paranoid before his death. Suddenly, those moments weren't seen as random heartbreak, but as foreshadowing. "He used to tell me things." One resurfaced clip of her voice cracked as she spoke. "But I didn't want to believe it." In the leaked video, Lil Tim continued talking. His voice grew sharper, angrier. "I was never supposed to be the villain. They made me the fall guy. Ask yourself, who benefited the most when Von was gone? Who suddenly had all the spotlight? All the control? Those questions echoed across social media. Theories spread like wildfire. Some fans accused industry figures, others pointed at rival rappers, and a few dared to whisper that even within OTF, not everyone was as loyal as they seemed. Screenshots of old Instagram lives, arguments, and subliminal posts resurfaced, painting a picture of tension simmering long before that tragic night. As the drama unfolded online, Von's sister, Kayla B, couldn't stay silent. She jumped on Instagram Live, visibly furious, her voice shaking with anger. "Don't believe none of that. Tim is lying. He's trying to rewrite history. My brother was set up by nobody but himself. He lived his life how he wanted, and he ain't scared of no one. Don't let these snakes twist the story now." Her live quickly became a battleground, thousands of viewers flooding in, comments scrolling so fast they blurred. Some supported her, others accused her of covering for people, and a few even begged her to just tell the truth. She ended the live abruptly, tears glistening in her eyes, slamming her phone down mid-sentence. Meanwhile, Lil Durk's silence became deafening. He posted nothing, said nothing, but fans noticed he unfollowed a few people quietly. To them, that was a signal, a message that he was distancing himself from those who might be involved. Blogs spun stories, YouTube channels uploaded Durk reaction explained videos, and fans were left to interpret every little move, like detectives piecing together a crime scene. But the biggest twist came when another clip surfaced, allegedly, from the same night as Lil Tim's recording. In it, someone in the background can be heard saying, "Don't say too much, they already watching." The voice wasn't clear, but fans claimed it sounded like someone connected to OTF. The conspiracy machine kicked into overdrive. People began to wonder if this new evidence was really evidence at all, or if it was a carefully staged performance meant to shift blame. But the drama didn't stop there. A well-known Atlanta promoter tweeted something cryptic that night. "The truth about Von being out here, y'all just ain't ready to accept it. Tim ain't lying." Within minutes, the tweet was deleted, but not before screenshots spread everywhere. As all of this unfolded, Von's fans felt their grief being ripped open again. One fan tweeted, "It's like losing him all over again. We never get peace. It's always another twist, another betrayal." Others demanded justice, calling for investigations, while some swore they would never stream certain artists again. The fan base fractured into camps, each convinced they had the real truth. Back in the shadows, insiders whispered about a meeting that supposedly happened weeks before Von's death, a meeting that brought together people from rival camps. Some said Tim was there, others denied it. One rumor even suggested that Durk knew about it but kept quiet. None of it was confirmed, but the story grew legs, sprinting through the gossip blogs and rap news channels. In one particularly dramatic moment, a former associate of Von posted on Instagram stories. "He knew they was plotting. He told me himself, but we didn't move fast enough." The story vanished within hours, but by then it had already been screen recorded, dissected, and turned into another piece of the puzzle. The line between fact and fiction blurred. Was Lil Tim finally confessing to a bigger plot? Or was he just stirring chaos to save his own name? And if there really were other hands involved, why now? Why speak up after so many years of silence? As the smoke thickened, fans realized they weren't just watching a case anymore. They were living inside a soap opera, one where loyalty, betrayal, and hidden motives collided. And just as people thought the dust was settling, another voice was about to enter the conversation, one that would set the internet on fire once again. The next voice that entered the conversation didn't come from a rapper, a promoter, or even one of the usual industry bloggers. It came from a man who claimed to be a former security guard, someone who allegedly worked the night of Von's death. His voice note surfaced on Telegram groups first, then spilled onto Twitter, and within hours it was trending across every platform. The voice was shaky, tired, like someone carrying a secret too heavy to hold. "What Tim said, it's true," the man whispered. I saw things I wasn't supposed to see that night. Von trusted the wrong people. They led him into that situation. He didn't even know the full play. Suddenly, fans who had dismissed Tim's claims were scrambling. If even one piece of this was true, then the entire story everyone thought they knew had to be rewritten. Twitter spaces filled with heated arguments, fans screaming at each other through their phones. One girl broke into tears mid-debate, yelling, "They set him up. I don't care what anyone says, they set him up." Another voice shouted back, "Nah, Tim's just trying to get sympathy. Von was a real one, and he went out like a real one. Stop twisting it." As the night dragged on, even bigger names started chiming in. A producer who had once worked with both Von and Dirk posted on Instagram, "You'll think this industry is about loyalty. It's about survival. People play chess with lives out here." He deleted it a few minutes later, but the damage was done. Screenshots flew and fans started naming names, dragging innocent people into the storm, just to fuel the speculation. Kayla, B, came back online again, angrier than before. She went live, pacing back and forth in her room. "These clowns trying to make money off my brother's name, lying on his memory. Tim ain't saying nothing but garbage. If you was real, you'd pull up and talk to me face to face, not hide behind some phone video." Her eyes burned as she read the comments flying across her screen. And to the so-called insiders, "You'll better watch your mouths before you get people hurt. This ain't no game." But even as Kayla fought to protect Von's name, another surprise came from a completely different angle. A leaked court document, allegedly tied to Tim's new charges, hinted that there were sealed witness statements connected to Von's case. The pages didn't reveal names, but the existence of sealed testimony reignited the fire. Blogs slapped headlines like "New witnesses to testify against Lil Tim" and "Hidden evidence resurfaces in King Von case." Fans couldn't keep up. One moment they were convinced Tim was lying, the next they were convinced he was telling the absolute truth. YouTube was flooded with analysis videos, thumbnails screaming with words like betrayal, exposed, and shocking. Some creators even staged fake phone calls, pretending they had insiders spilling information. It didn't matter if it was real or fake. The hunger for answers was so intense that anything could go viral. Through all of this, Dirk's silence remained louder than words. His closest associates posted cryptic quotes about trust, loyalty, and snakes in the grass. One caption read, "Sometimes family ain't blood, sometimes blood ain't family." Fans lost their minds, interpreting it as a subtle jab at Von's circle, maybe even at Tim. The idea that Dirk knew more but refused to speak only fueled the fire further. Meanwhile, another unexpected twist came when Asian Doll's old text messages leaked on Twitter. Screenshots allegedly showed her warning a friend weeks before Von's death. "He feel like somebody close gone backdoor him. He don't trust everybody." Whether real or fabricated, those texts hit like dynamite. Fans reposted them everywhere, saying, "Huss, see, Von knew. He felt it coming." Others dismissed them as Photoshop, just another trick to stir drama. But once again, the line between truth and fabrication blurred. What made the situation even messier was that a well-known Chicago blogger claimed to have footage from that night that the public never saw. In a live session, he teased, "They don't want me to drop it, but if Tim keeps talking, I might just upload the video. Y'all ain't ready for what's on there." His followers begged him to post it, the comments blowing up his chat. He ended the live with a smirk, leaving everyone hanging in suspense. Back in Atlanta, word spread that Tim wasn't acting alone in releasing his video. Rumors circulated that a media company had paid him for exclusive rights to his so-called confession. Some said it was a money grab. Others claimed it was protection, a way to control the narrative before the streets did. Either way, the idea that this was orchestrated only added another layer of mistrust. Fans were split into camps. One side believed Von was betrayed by someone close. Another side believed Tim was creating smoke to hide his own guilt. And a third group believed the entire industry had a hand in silencing Von. Hashtags like Harn Justice for Von and Harn Tim Truth trended side by side. showing just how fractured the fanbase had become. And just when it seemed like the drama couldn't get any deeper, another revelation dropped from a source no one expected. A family friend of Von, speaking to a local Chicago news station, hinted that there were conversations between Von and Dirk days before the shooting that the public never heard. They talked about beef, they talked about moves they were making. Some things didn't add up. I think there was tension that y'all don't even know about. The clip went viral instantly. People clipped it, slowed it down, analyzed the man's body language. Some swore he was lying. Others said he looked scared for even saying that much. Now, the spotlight wasn't just on Tim. It had shifted back to Dirk, to Von's inner circle, to anyone who might have had something to gain or lose that night. And as the streets kept talking, one chilling question started to rise louder and louder. If Tim was telling the truth, then who exactly was pulling the strings behind the scenes? The tension reached a boiling point. Online debates turned into real-life arguments, even fights in clubs and parties where Von's music played. People shouted at each other about who was guilty, who was innocent, and who should be held accountable. The drama had left the internet and seeped back into the streets, and nobody knew where it would end. And just as people thought they had seen it all, a new voice entered the picture. One that carried even more weight, because this time it was someone who claimed to be part of Von's family. But the family voice came quietly at first, a late-night Facebook Live that barely crossed 100 viewers in the moment. It was Von's cousin, someone who had stayed out of the spotlight until now. Their face was shadowed, the room dim, but the words cut sharper than anything yet. "I kept my mouth shut for years," they whispered, "because I thought silence would keep us safe. But if Tim's talking now, then I gotta talk too." Von told me days before Headied, he felt like somebody close to him was about to line him up. The live didn't last long, maybe 5 minutes at most, but it was enough. The cousin alleged that Von had suspicions about more than one person, that there were conversations about money, loyalty, and betrayal. He didn't trust everybody around him. He told me, "'Cause if anything happens, know it wasn't random." The words hit like a bomb across the internet. Fans immediately clipped the video, reposted it everywhere, and within hours, it had thousands of views. Emotions ran wild. One side of the fandom cried out that this was the missing puzzle piece, that Von had known his fate. Others accused the cousin of clout chasing, saying grief can twist memories, and people often say things in hindsight to fit the narrative. But no matter which side you believed, the family's words breathed new life into the storm. Kayla B jumped online again, her patience clearly gone. "These so-called family members need to shut the hell up. Y'all wasn't even around Von like that. Now you want to pop out years later with stories. Nah, keep his name out your mouth unless you was really there." She was fiery, pacing around, slamming her hand against the wall mid-rant. Fans spammed the comments, some siding with her, others calling her defensive. Then came another shocking twist. In an exclusive interview leaked from behind bars, someone, claiming to be a cellmate of Tim, spoke out. The voice was scratchy, distorted, but the words were crystal clear. "He told me he didn't pull the trigger just to save himself. He said someone in Von's crew actually wanted it to go down. They pressured the situation, they hyped it up, and he just reacted. But he swore to me that he was a pawn. He kept saying, 'I'm the scapegoat, I'm the one they want y'all to hate.'" The internet went into meltdown. If Tim really believed he was a scapegoat, then who was the mastermind? Fans flooded forums with theories. Some said it was industry politics, that Von's rising star was stepping on toes. Others swore it was street business, a debt unpaid or an old grudge coming back to haunt him. YouTube channels dissected every theory, dropping hour-long breakdowns, filled with dramatic music and flashing red arrows. Meanwhile, a Chicago blogger dropped a voice note he claimed came from a reliable insider. The voice note hinted that there had been a secret meeting between rival crews just days before the shooting. They sat at the same table, the voice claimed, talking peace, but really setting the stage. Von didn't even know the whole play. He thought it was about squashing beef, but they was laying the trap. Theories spiraled out of control. Screenshots of old text messages, blurry photos, and random snippets of lyrics became evidence in the court of public opinion. Fans turned into detectives, drawing red circles on screenshots, connecting dots that may or may not even exist. And through it all, one phrase kept echoing. Who gained the most from Von being gone? Asian Doll's name resurfaced again in the chaos. Old interviews where she spoke about Von's paranoia took on new weight. He felt like he was being watched, she once said. Fans replayed the clip a million times, convinced she had been warning the world all along. Her socials blew up with comments demanding answers, but she stayed quiet, posting only cryptic messages about loyalty and betrayal. As the drama thickened, even industry outsiders began chiming in. A popular DJ tweeted, "The game is dirty, ain't nobody clean. You're looking at the wrong people. Sometimes the enemy is right beside you smiling." Fans screenshot the tweet, dissecting who he might be talking about, while the DJ quickly deleted it. Back in Atlanta, Tim's lawyer made a rare public statement. "My client maintains he acted in self-defense," the lawyer said. "Any claims beyond that are speculation, but we are reviewing new information that may change how the public sees this case." The statement was vague, but the timing was explosive. Speculation grew that Tim might actually testify against others, flipping the entire narrative upside down. This possibility divided the internet even further. Some fans felt vindicated, ready to believe that Von was betrayed by those closest to him. Others felt sick at the idea that the truth might never fully come out, that every new revelation was just another smokescreen. The streets buzzed louder than ever. Fights broke out in clubs where Von's songs played. Arguments erupted over who to blame. One viral video showed two groups nearly brawling outside a bar after someone shouted, "Tim told the truth, you're just blind." The energy was dangerous, raw, and emotional. And just when it seemed like the internet couldn't take any more twists, a well-known Chicago journalist hinted at something even bigger. In a late-night tweet, he wrote, "If you thought this was about Von Tim and that night, you're wrong. There are names you haven't even heard yet, and they're about to shake the whole industry." The tweet was deleted within minutes, but not before screenshots spread like wildfire. People demanded answers. Who were these mystery names? How deep did the conspiracy go? And as dawn broke, with the internet in flames, fans realized they were standing on the edge of yet another revelation. The drama wasn't dying down, it was escalating. And the next twist promised to be the most shocking yet, because this time, it wasn't just about Von's circle or Tim's confession. It was about powerful figures in the industry and their alleged role in the tragedy that changed rap forever. The whispers about industry figures turned into a roar overnight. A viral Twitter thread claimed to have inside information about a meeting between executives, promoters, and people from both Von's and Dirk's orbit. The thread accused these shadowy figures of manipulating events, not for street beef, but for money and control. Von was too independent. One tweet read, "He wanted to own too much, and the machine don't like that, so they clipped his wings." The comments section lit up with thousands of replies, some agreeing, some accusing the thread's author of pure fabrication, but everyone reading every single word like it was gospel. YouTube channels latched onto the idea immediately, dropping videos with titles like "Was Von sacrificed by the industry?" and "Lil Tim was just a pawn." Dramatic music played under clips of interviews, old footage, and slowed down moments where Von looked over his shoulder or seemed uneasy. One creator even staged a fake phone call, claiming it was a record exec admitting everything. Fans knew it was probably fake, but they watched anyway, because the more outrageous it got, the more believable it felt in a world already drenched in betrayal. As this narrative picked up steam, Tim's shaky video began to look less like a ramble and more like a carefully placed breadcrumb. Fans speculated that maybe he was being pressured to talk, maybe even threatened. One anonymous account posted, "You'll think Tim doing this on his own? Nah, someone making him move. He's scared of something bigger." The tweet was cryptic, but it matched the paranoia spreading across the fan base. Kayla B, already exhausted from defending her brother's name, lashed out again. This time, she went harder than ever before. Stop saying my brother was some pawn. Stop saying he was sacrificed. He was a man. He was real. He made his choices. Don't turn his name into some conspiracy story for clicks. Her words were sharp, but you could see the pain beneath them. Fans flooded her comments with both love and hate. Some thanked her for keeping Von's image intact. Others accused her of hiding truths. Asian Doll, on the other hand, decided to post a cryptic tweet that sent fans into meltdown. They been new. You're just late. Nothing more, nothing less. Those 5 words ignited a firestorm. Who was they? What did they know? Was she hinting that Von himself warned her about people plotting against him? Screenshots of the tweet spread instantly, and theories grew wilder by the hour. As if the storm wasn't chaotic enough, a blogger dropped alleged leaked audio of an executive talking about Von's death. The audio was muffled, the voice unrecognizable, but the words were chilling. Sometimes you gotta cut the head before it grows too big. Whether it was real or not, fans ate it up. Some said it was proof of the industry conspiracy. Others called it fake. But the audio clip racked up millions of views within hours, sparking debates that bled into mainstream news outlets. Dirk still said nothing. His silence became the loudest sound in the room. Fans analyzed his every move, who he followed, who he unfollowed, even which emojis he used in captions. One day, he posted a photo with the caption, "Loyalty is rare." The comments exploded. Is this about Von? Is this about Tim? Who snaked who? The speculation was endless. Then came the final twist, the kind of revelation that made even the most jaded fans gasp. A former promoter, someone who had booked shows for Von in the past, came forward with claims that Von had been warned not to perform in Atlanta that week. He told me he felt off, the promoter said in a radio interview. He said, something, don't feel right, but I can't back down. The street's watching. The host pressed him. So you're saying he knew what was coming? The promoter sighed. I think he knew the danger, but he didn't know the full picture. He was walking into a setup bigger than him. The radio clip went viral instantly. Fans stitched it into TikToks, turned it into memes, and dissected every second. The idea that Von had a sense of foreboding added another tragic layer to the story. By this point, the narrative had stretched so far that truth and fiction were impossible to separate. Was Tim a scapegoat? Was Von betrayed by his own people? Was the industry pulling strings behind closed doors? Or was all of this just noise, feeding off grief and confusion? What was clear was that fans were emotionally torn apart. One side screamed for justice, demanding the truth finally be exposed. Another side begged for peace, tired of seeing Von's name dragged through endless drama. And a third side thrived on the chaos, craving every new rumor, every new twist, as if the story was a never-ending TV series. In the end, the new evidence Lil Tim hinted at had done more than just spark conversation. It had reopened wounds, divided families, and turned the hip-hop world upside down once again. The lines between fact and fiction blurred so deeply that nobody could tell the difference anymore. And as the dust began to settle, one haunting truth remained. King Von's death wasn't just a tragedy of the past. It was an open wound, a story with no clear ending, a drama that kept writing itself in the streets, in the studios, and on the screens of millions of fans who refused to let it go. And somewhere in that chaos, Lil Tim's shaky words continued to echo. I was set up. Ask yourself, who gained the most? The story of Lil Tim, King Von, Lil Durk, Asian Doll, and all the people dragged into this saga leaves us standing at a crossroads. Fans are more divided than ever, some swearing the new evidence proves Von was betrayed, others insisting it's all smoke and mirrors meant to twist the truth. Emotions ran high, arguments broke out online and in real life. And still, the answers remain blurry. Was it self-defense, a setup, or something deeper orchestrated by forces we can't see? The family is left divided. The friends remain silent. And the fans are left piecing together a puzzle that may never be complete. But one thing is certain. Von's name still echoes louder than ever. Every new twist brings his memory back to the front page. Every new claim keeps his story alive. Whether this new evidence is real or fake, the impact is undeniable. The rap world continues to debate, continues to argue, and continues to search for the truth. And now, it's on you. What do you believe? Do you think Lil Tim was telling the truth about being set up? Or was he just spinning the story to save his own name? Do you think Von's inner circle knew more than they said? Or is this just another case of internet detectives going too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because we need to hear from you. If you rocked with this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button right now, smash the subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss when we drop the next big story. Because trust me, the way this drama is unfolding, the next twist might be even bigger, and you don't want to be the last to know.